Hi. As an educator, you're probably very familiar with just scoffing your lunch down and racing on to the next task, or scoffing lunch down in the middle of the next task. You're probably also, as a human being, familiar with scoffing food down and barely noticing it as well, outside of the school environment. You've probably done that several times. You've probably also done that mindless eating thing, like eating for no reason just because something to do. Looking in the fridge and, oh yeah, I'll have that, and for no particular reason. You've probably also noticed that come Thanksgiving or Christmas, you might overeat a little, maybe other times of the year as well, and then feel really uncomfortable for hours and hours afterwards. All of these are symptoms of eating unmindfully. Now, eating mindfully is a very different experience, and what we're about to do is have an experience that hopefully will be one of the most interesting eating experiences you've ever had. So we'll see if that's true. So I have a tangerine here. You need something. A few raisins might be good, not too many. A tangerine, even a piece of chocolate. Doesn't really matter, but we need something. So if you haven't got that, please go and grab it now and put this on pause. And if you do have that, let's get started. So with this tangerine here, and whatever you have, make sure your hands are washed too. So if you haven't washed your hands, put us on pause again and go wash your hands and then come back. If you have, let's get started. So here I am with my tangerine. Whatever you have, I invite you now to feel it, to really notice what makes this unique. To feel, and as you're feeling it, to look at it. Okay? So this tangerine, for instance, is the only tangerine exactly like this that has ever existed. Only one. It might be very, very similar to a lot of other tangerines, but this is unique. And whatever you have in your hand, it's probably unique too. Again, it may be a lot like a lot of other things, especially if you've just got a block of chocolate or something, but it's still got something that makes it unique. So I invite you to really investigate it, to look. This has got some little bits of green here and there, just little streaks. It's got a little sticker on it that says love. That's very sweet. And it's definitely not round. It's got an oblongy kind of thing going on here, this shape. So there's some of the things about it. If I feel more, I notice that this bit here is a lot harder than this bit over here. And the little indents, this bit here is a lot smoother than this bit over here, where there's some really pronounced little dimples. So what is unique about yours? And just feeling that texture in your hand, rubbing it through your hand. Really beginning to notice. Okay. Now let's experience, if you've got something that you can unwrap or peel, great, let's start. Let's feel what it's like to peel. Listen to that. Wow, there's like a popping and then this release kind of sound. A crackling maybe, then a release. And the feel of my thumb inside here, there's a real smoothness that I wouldn't have expected from a skin, from the inside of a skin of a tangerine on one side, and then on the other side, a very different sensation. The sound. That's quite interesting. So whatever you're unwrapping or peeling at the moment, if you have something to do that with, what do you notice there? And now I have something else to feel, so I'm going to do that and check in with that. The roughness of the surface. Okay. So what else do we have here? What other senses can we use? We can use smell, can't we? Have you ever tried to describe the smell of something without comparing it to something else? You can't really do it, can you? Smells like a. That's how we do. And it smells different in different parts of it. Some parts it's like the scent is way stronger, probably where I've broken the skin a little more, and other parts not so much. What about the sound? How could an inanimate object have a sound? Well, let's see. If you move it around in your fingers, in your hand, is there a sound? Yeah. There's almost a hollowness that I hear sometimes when I just move my finger. And there's also, my finger kind of sticks a little to it, and then when I move it, I can hear the finger kind of pop off a little. What about for you? Whatever you have. Okay, now let's open it. And the invitation here is whatever you have, we're just going to have one little piece of it. So, like this. And I invite you to begin with by just putting it between your lips, not even biting down, just like this. And noticing what you notice in your mouth, but elsewhere in your body. For instance, do you notice some salivation? That might be happening. Do you notice maybe your tummy rumbling or something like that? Who knows? What thoughts are arising? Check in. And when you're ready, bring it into your mouth and bite down. Okay. And just move it around your mouth and see what you notice. What changes in different parts of your mouth? What changes in the consistency of what you experience in your mouth? Again, what thoughts arise? Is it what you expected? Exactly what you expected? Or were there different sensations? Okay. And once you've worked your way through that one, put another one in. And this time, move it around your mouth without biting into it to begin with. How was that experience different? And when you're ready, bite into it and notice what happens then. The flavor with this one, even though it's the same tangerine, with this piece, may be quite different from the last one. You know, when we eat a tangerine normally, or raisins, or whatever it is we're eating, it's usually by the handful. Like I wouldn't eat just one piece. I'd probably eat this whole pit in one go. I wouldn't get the subtle differences between each one. So, utilizing this kind of approach to eating, this mindful eating approach, it's not something you can do all the time, I understand. In the middle of a school day, it's probably not something you can do, but you might be able to do it with one little piece of something, right? Might not be able to do it with your whole meal, but one bite perhaps. You can attend to it and experience the food as it is, not as the memory that you have of it. Because that tends to be what happens when we scoff it down. We don't experience it, we just have this memory of what it was like, and that's what we experience. So to do it with that, to do it with your meals at home, with whatever. When you get to your Thanksgiving meal, for instance, maybe by paying more attention, you won't overeat so much. Because we don't need to eat so much, right? To fully experience the flavor of something and the experience of food, you only need one little piece. The rest of it's just a bonus. So that's the invitation to explore how else you may eat mindfully. And there are plenty of other ways, which we'll probably discuss in our class as well. So thank you very much. Enjoy your food.